Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our reaction and review for From Season 2, Episode 8, an episode fittingly titled Forest for the Trees. Because, Randall, why can't you see the forest for the trees? What's wrong with you? Granted, you can ask that a lot of people on this show, but Randall,
I know.
Randall.
Randall. I think he makes a lot of us just kind of shake our heads. And I mean, it kind of makes sense that there would be somebody in this town that's kind of going off the rails like this. But I'm telling you right now, Randall, if you touch Donna, so help you. If you touch Donna, I mean, I'm not going to be happy.
Okay, here's who Randall is. Everybody out there probably had some variation of high school chemistry class. There's always that one kid who is just like, what happens if you mix all the test tubes together? And is just like back there like doing this when nobody is watching. That is Randall. He just was like, I can't wait. I'm just gonna do stuff, just seeing what it blows up.
Yeah, no, it's not great. I mean, I'm a little bit worried about Donna. This show has shown that they're really unafraid when it comes to taking big swings and taking out big characters. I mean, could we lose Donna? I mean, it's possible, but I won't be happy.
Don't worry, Donna, you're gonna live. I am guaranteeing in this video that Donna will not die in episode 9. The Frumbly is going to come for me when this happens, but you guys can't do a cliffhanger like this and then actually get rid of her. In my soul, I have a very hopeful soul with this show. Probably a mistake, but I do not regret it.
That's pretty good for a show that's pretty dark and has done some pretty dark things.
Don't worry, they're gonna get rid of somebody else. It's just not gonna be Donna, everybody. But okay, all right. Before we move further here, if you guys did not know, Jess and I, we have a Patreon, and we got a link to that in the description below. And over there, we have an exclusive From discussion all about why are these people all there in Fromville? Why can't they leave? What are the common bonds that are bringing them together? It is a fun, lively discussion to further along all of our From education, our From education, if you will. Okay, that doesn't quite work, but we're rolling with it. But check out that link in the description. Thank you guys so much for all of your support.
Yes, thank you. And we're also covering Silo here at the channel.
Yeah.
You know, Black Mirror's coming up next week, and we're going to be covering that here as well. All 5 episodes, movies, as they're calling them. And we've got stuff over on our Patreon with that as well. Also, Dead City. I mean, there's a lot coming up here at the channel and over at the Patreon. So thank you again to everyone who has joined our Patreon. Helps keep this channel going.
Okay, Randall, I'm not done with you yet.
Oh, okay. We just jumping right into that cliffhanger.
Yes, he's got freaking Donna tied up to a tree.
Okay, so here's where I am with this. I was like, okay, I'm with you, Randall, for a little bit of this, not Donna, but when he's kind of like, listen, have we seen anybody actually die in front of us? No. Like, okay, you guys haven't, but I mean, most of us have at this point, but he hasn't. So he's in the frame of mind that he's like, have we really seen anybody die? I don't know. They're probably all alive. Sarah, what about your brother? Where are you stashing him? I'm like, wow, okay, that's really dark to say that, but okay, we're here. Let's keep going with this. Okay, what if, they're telling us to keep the blinds shut? What if we open them and see what's going on? I'm like, okay, I'm with you. That's fine. But then it's all like, let's go to the RV. And then I was like, okay, you lost me. Now I'm lost. Why do you need to go to the RV? Why do you need to be out in the woods? If your theory, Randall, is Boyd and Donna are like all behind this and, they meet you in town. They're like, don't open the blinds in your house. That keeps you safe. Wouldn't you want to do exactly what they said not to do? Go into one of the houses at night, open the blinds, not go to the RV. She didn't say anything about don't go to the RV. And then I'm like, also remembering back that Randall lives in the bus. Randall lives in the bus with none of the blinds pulled down. We've seen him that first night in the bus, all the blinds open, staring straight out the window at the monsters that came to the bus and then turned around and left. he's already done what he's suggesting that him and Jim do. I don't trust Randall. Something's going on with Randall.
I don't trust Randall either. There's
Randall bringing Jim out into the forest like that. Let's go to the RV. Why? Why are you doing that? You already know. You've looked out at night at the monsters. You've seen what's going on. What is your game?
okay.
Randall, you gonna die.
Yes, Randall is going to die. This is why they're not getting rid of Donna, because they're going to get rid of Randall. That will be enough. Now, granted, something else really, really crazy will happen because of this, and we'll get into all of this. But first and foremost, Randall, I'm going to continue to discuss you as though you were a viewer of this video. Maybe, why didn't you think for a second that maybe Boyd and Donna are actually trying to help you? Like, maybe they don't want you to be turned into, like, monster meal or something like that. Maybe this is not, like, some malicious, crazy thing that is going on here. Did you ever think about that? No, you did not. Instead, they are all out to get you. You have developed this mindset that is completely berserk, and you are allowing your inner paranoia to just manifest itself into your actions, where I think he becomes so intent on proving something to Jim, perhaps. He wants somebody to believe him, which is not good. Like, regardless of whatever we want to say that the purpose of this town is, I don't think it's for whatever Randall thinks it is at this point, because Randall thinks he can fight against all of this, do his own thing, get other people to believe in his own thing, and just kind of deny the very architecture of everything else. And I think he believes, and I legitimately think that he believes this, whether he has some sort of other calling or he's just completely lost it, that having Jim out there, he's going to show Jim's going to go and tell everybody else he is going to become the messiah of this community, and then everyone will just start to follow him, and you are wrong. I don't trust you. I don't think I will ever trust you. Go. Goodbye. I'm done with you. You've fulfilled your purpose.
Yeah, like, what I'm kind of wondering here is, if Randall ends up dead, and he's put them all in a really dangerous situation, because at this point, what it feels like Randall is setting up here is that he's going to have Donna tied to this tree. Him and Jim are just going to agree to both hide in this RV, open the window, and see what happens to Donna. That's what it feels like that Randall's experiment is going to be. Jim is not going to be down with this program. No. There's no way. These two have not spent enough time together. Jim is not that far down the hole that he's willing to, like, kill people in town just to see if his theories are correct or not. I'm starting to wonder, actually, if Jim is going to end up in this situation where he has to kill Randall and that he's actually going to kill another person.
I think it is pretty realistic here to, expect this to happen, where we have a bit of an old Yeller situation here with Randall. You got to take Randall out behind the bar, and he's just like, he's going too far out, and, tinfoil hat time here. Here's where I think things are going to go really awry. I think that Jim's going to realize there's a problem here. I don't know if he's going to do what he needs to probably do here. Maybe he will be like, okay, I can talk him down from this. This will all be okay. Randall's not going to be happy about this. He's not going to be like, why don't you believe me? You suck. I'm going to go and tell some other people now. I'm going to start spreading my quote-unquote gospel to some others. I think that we are going to say goodbye to Randall. We won't miss you, but at the end of the day, he is going to cause some sort of problem that he's either going to create further division in the town, where you've got like multiple factions, and that's going to sort of be our setup for potential season 3 here. Or we're going to see a situation where he's going to unleash something even more terrible than all these other monsters and Smileys and all this other sort of stuff. He's going to open the magic chest, and then we're just going to have to be terrified the rest of the way.
What I love that this episode did is they fed into Randall's theory about Donna so beautifully throughout, where it's like they're at the church and they're talking to Sarah, and who shows up? Donna, and him being like, oh, well, that's convenient. And then they did it again at the medical clinic, where it's like, I got a headache and I'm here. You got some aspirin? That's convenient. I was just like, the show is so good at playing these things up, where I'm like, is she Is she doing something that I don't know about? Like, it's very weird.
I really,
Especially
yeah,
because we were in this situation where Boyd ends up telling Donna about Smiley in the boiler room, and her reaction to it is take him out and burn him. And then they did. And I was just like, that's really strange. Like, they went through everything they went through to open him up, find out about the bile. What other information could they have with that monster? They had a one shot to be able to get that monster, and they did. The idea that they would just take him out and burn him, like, there could be other information that they could get out of him. It wasn't Donna saying, take him to the shed outside, somewhere that's not in here, but like just burn him, get rid of him completely. I was like, that's a bit shifty.
okay. As
Oh God, I'm Randall.
as somebody who lived my life through all the rules established on the reality television show The Mole, here is some of what happens
Bull.
when it comes to this. All right. So on The Mole, a lot of the time, you're looking for things that are like mole-like behavior. And sometimes it's somebody who is the mole. Sometimes they're pretending to be the mole. Or sometimes nothing is happening and you've just lost it because you've been a part of this for so long. Like, I understand Randall thinking that there is some molishness perhaps going on with Donna. Or maybe she actually is just a helpful person within the community that's trying to get some things done. She's one of the more proactive people we have. Like, I love Donna. I don't want anything to happen to Donna. And I think, yes, through the right lens, through some mole-colored glasses, maybe you do look at what happened with Smiley and burning the body, and you're just like, you know what? That's wrong. That's shifty. However, I think she was just like, you know what? I don't like the idea of having this like body of this monster that we don't really understand out here. Let's just get rid of it to make sure there's no other problems. She's basically throwing the body of Smiley into Mount Doom in this scenario and hoping that all of it is just disintegrated once and for all. And as somebody who would be not well in this community, I understand this entirely. I do not want that body sitting around. There's too much weirdness with the cicada thing already. I'm done. I'm good.
Absolutely. Then put him in the box. Like, he doesn't need to be in anybody's house or whatever. We said this in the last video. Like, you gonna bring him inside? No. Why would you bring him inside? Put him in the box, deal with him there, take him to a shed, a house that's not being used, like something that's just not inside where you're actually staying. So I found it strange that she was just like, burn it, get rid of it. I was like, there could be more information. They may never have this chance again to ever have another monster. I mean, they're trying. So they have the bile and they're thinking that they're going to coat bullets in
Yeah.
it and try to get it into other bodies that way. And I mean, it could work, but if it doesn't, they burned up Smiley. So well done.
It's a risk. To me it's an understandable risk. I would not want that body out there, but at the same time, Boyd is smart to try to come
Yes,
up
he
with a
is.
solution
Yep.
to this problem. I think you need to figure out whatever way you can to make something work. So he has this plan, and I think it's an interesting plan. And, you
Mhm.
know, Kenny seems to be okay enough to be someone who can potentially execute a lot of it. But of course, granted, my biggest problem with a lot of this still is you are counting on the bravery and effectiveness of a lot of these people in this town. And this is a real motley crew of people in not so great ways. They can't get along with each other. Everyone is coming after Sarah all the time. It's just like, I do not trust the ability of these people to really get together and do anything. And even if it's just a small ragtag group of underdogs who are out there fighting the good fight, this is still a very risky plan that could go bad so fast.
Well, the other thing is I've said that I feel like there's like a supernatural feeling about this town, or at least it's what I want it to be. And if that's the case, then normal rules don't apply, where it's kind of like, oh, we can put the bile on this bullet and it'll work. It should work. Okay, but like, we're driving along and now you live in this town, you can't leave. So there's something else going on, which is where we're all gonna put on more tinfoil because here's kind of a theory that's been playing around in my head and started to get a little more confirmed in this episode. So we have a lot of people that are having dreams, and these dreams are being manifested into their sort of real life where, Elgin's waking up and he's coughing up water and he had this dream that he was drowning. And then you've got Kenny who, had this dream that this, cicada came and, burnt him on his arm and he woke up and then there was this burn on his arm and he had this phone call. And then the phone call was sort of like started to fit into this theory that I have that this whole group are a bunch of people who are transitioning through a part of life. That's something that, some of the people behind the show have sort of said or hinted towards that is something that is a connection with everybody. And if that's the case, and it's like, if they're transitioning through something difficult or something big, like, Boyd is retiring, it's a big transition, or, everything that's been going on, Jade sold his company, his life's work, kind of, that's a big transition. Everyone's going through something. What if this is like a situation where everybody's transitioning, but they're having to face their fears about it? Because that's been a theory in the Frumley family that's been going around, which is, are they there to face fears or face fear, which are the monsters? We saw Randall standing there in the bus facing these monsters and they all turned away and walked away. Was it because of the talisman, or is it because he's facing fear, and once he's facing fear, they're walking away and his fear is moving from him? So my theory is starting to be, or it has been, but now it's really kind of coming together in my head here.
Okay.
Is that they're in some sort of therapy, that all of these people are in some sort of hypnosis or some sort of drug therapy or something that's going on. And the thing that like really clinched it for me in this episode was that phone call that Kenny got in his dream, where the person on the phone was basically like, if you want them to stop, if you want them to stop coming, then you need to stop the melody. And we've seen this music box, and, Martin Source said something similar. Oh, once the music stops, like all this stuff is going to happen. And music or, certain words are used in like hypnosis and therapy to put you under. And then when the music stops, you wake up. And now we're going to talk about, what did you see? What did you think? Whatever. That's what I'm kind of wondering is happening now, that it's like this music box is so in play, and whenever the music stops, like something's going to happen. And that is very connected to like a hypnosis. So that's what I think. I think they all in therapy, and when the music stops, they all going to wake up and transition into whatever they're transitioning to and get over their fears about it.
Okay, so I think there are some things in there that I 100% agree with. I think the idea of conquering fear is a big part of what is going on here. I don't know if we can put on more tinfoil. I may just have to settle with the amount that we currently have on our heads at this point.
We're still in our tinfoil
But
hats.
this is I'm gonna get really weird now. Like really, really weird. This is a weird show, so you know what? I'm fine with it. This is very funny too, because when we were doing Yellow Jackets and we have those videos up, I was very much in the anti-supernatural camp with that show. Here, I'm all about it. Here's what happened, everyone. I'm gonna say this as though this is probably not true, but you know what? I think it's interesting.
All right.
We're gonna go back a long time here. We're gonna go back, even before Victor. And Victor, by the way, had some great stuff in this episode.
Oh yeah, he really did. That whole lighthouse picture. Oh boy.
Yeah, we've got some stuff we're gonna be getting to in episode 9 with Victor. I think it's pretty confident about that. But even before him, I think this particular space, this community, this area around the community, something really terrible happened here a long time ago. That's so terrible to the point that, I know this, don't laugh, it broke the space-time continuum and it created a separate little pocket universe. Okay, now I'm laughing, but you know what? I'm still saying it. It created a pocket universe around this town that is built on the aspect of, can you beat these obstacles? Can you face what is burning up inside of you? If you ever want to escape this world, you have to find a way to do it. And the creation of this is built on the idea of whoever was here first did not do it. And their failures created this haunting, terrifying world that now exists. And if you want to actually stop it, if you want to stop this melody, you have to find a way to understand it, to come together. And I think with Randall, what we're seeing here is he thinks that he's conquering it. And I think we go back to the title here. He's not seeing the forest for the trees. He is seeing that I'm doing something. I'm going to bring everybody into my own way of thinking, with him not really understanding that everybody's way of thinking is separate. You can't force someone into conquer something that they're not ready to conquer, and they're not going to be conquering the same thing as you either. And so I think that we are in a spot where conquering fear is a big part of this, like you said. I think ultimately the creation of this and trying to find a way to stop it, those are going to be the hard things. And I think the longer this goes, the worse things are going to become, because it's sort of a situation where this universe is trying to force them to face it, and they're not facing it. They're just like Lottie dying around. It's like, okay, you don't want to deal with this. Now we're almost gonna drown Elfman. Now we're gonna find a way to, oh, there's a burn mark on your skin, Kenny. It's like they're going to keep testing you and keep testing you. And the ultimate failure of Randall screwing everything up and eventually dying, that is gonna bring the Uber monsters out to play.
Okay, let's talk about the lighthouse, because
Okay.
that's something that we saw Boyd dealing with Sarah, that when they went on their journey, they saw the lighthouse. We know that Tabitha had this sort of vision when she was coming up from the basement, that she was basically walking up this lighthouse as well. And we saw her bring Jade to the tunnel and everything that's sort of kind of going on. But it all led to Tabitha finding this picture with Victor of the lighthouse. Like, this is all going to come back to this lighthouse. And I don't know if they're going to have another journey out there to the lighthouse. I mean, she saw this lighthouse in town, like how far things really are. But this lighthouse is definitely coming back into play.
I feel like this lighthouse sort of represents a bridge between one world and the next, but something that they can't really get to. But maybe the lighthouse is the place where they can sort of see it. And then maybe that gives them that element of hope, that element of, oh, maybe something could change. But yeah, I think this lighthouse is playing into that. I think we're going to have the lighthouse play a huge role in this next episode, because I think these are all people who are desperate for answers, right? You know, we've already seen the tunnels. We got freaking Randall and Jim out in the forest. The lighthouse, it's another place. It's another destination. And if I am in this town, once again, I have no business being in this town, but I'm looking for landmarks. I'm looking for things that are different than everything else, just because I'm going to be like, why does this exist? Like, why is this here?
This town needs to start sharing information. And that was one of the things that Jade brought up as well, where he was just like, Victor knows that these symbols are in this tunnel. I asked him about this.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me this. Like, why is he not telling me? And we know that Victor went through a lot where it was like, he shares information and he thinks like everybody dies on him. And now he doesn't want to do that anymore. And I understand that. But it's like, Boyd and Sarah know about the lighthouse and they're not really telling anybody about it. And everybody knows about Smiley over, downstairs in the basement in the boiler room, and not telling anyone about it, and what they've learned about the worms and not sharing that. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody is sharing any information. And the person who has the most information is Victor. He's been there the longest. And it was nice to see Tabitha actually sit down with him and
Yes.
try to speak with him, because he is the person who knows the most. He is the person who's been there the longest. And while he doesn't always know how to articulate what he has seen, he does have pictures or other ways to communicate what is going on, or what he has seen, or what people have seen there. He is full of information, and so are so many people in this town. If they all came together and just shared the information, they may actually be able to figure some stuff out.
Also, can you guys come together and figure things out with Sarah? Like, this is something that I am ready to see the show evolve a little bit with Sarah, as opposed to just everyone sort of debating as to whether or not she's the boogeyman. I feel like we have told this story now. We're good. We can move on to some other things with her. I think there's a lot of potential there. With Victor, I think he's a perfect reminder of sort of the weird relationship with time in this show, where he has been there a long time, and yet he acts the youngest other than Ethan, and he's in this sort of suspended mindscape that I hope we dive a little bit more into. I mean, we are really close to the end of the season.
I
now.
know. I can't believe it's almost over.
But here's the thing. They're going to accelerate things. I think we will get a couple of answers. I think we will understand more about if Boyd's idea is going to work. I think we're going to see the end of Randall. Maybe we'll see the end of somebody else. I think we're going to get a crazy cliffhanger. Brace yourselves for that.
Absolutely. I think they are really building towards giving us a pretty big cliffhanger. I mean, this show loves to pile mysteries on top of mysteries. And, I've seen people in the comments talking about that where it's like, we just keep getting mysteries and we don't get any answers. And I understand that, but we are only in season 2.
Yeah. Well, we will be back hopefully with more answers after these next couple of episodes. But if you want to see more from us now, check out our Patreon. Our link is in the description below. Thank you to everyone who has supported us over there. And we will see you here next time.